Good morning, everybody. So today I'm going to show you how I make these pages that I put into my journal. What they are is they're collage, and then I stitch over them, and I use this mix that I made with 3 parts glue, 1 part water, and I spread it over them, and it gives it a very nice texture, even though the paper I use is a very thin. You don't have to use this kind of paper. My husband brought me this for free. I got a whole big 1-foot stack of it. It's just a very thin, it's like a copy paper. So you could use copy paper you use in your computer, or any kind of paper, any kind of paper you have. You don't have to use the good watercolor or mixed media paper. Actually, I have 2 sheets here, so I'm taking one out. This is very thin, but it's going to be nice after I collage it. So these are some of the ones I've done. These are just simple ones. I have some with much more collage and much more color, but I think I've used them in journals. These particular ones are for the traveler's style journals that I do. But I stitch on them after I collage, and I just use any kind of scrap paper. I use coloring book, scrap paper, maps, text, book paper, painted papers that I've done, leftover, jelly prints, anything. I use anything at all to collage on here. And it's a very simple and it's a very fun and relaxing project to do. So I've got some papers here that I'm going to use for the collage. And I didn't on these, but a lot of times I'll take my crayons and also draw over them before I stitch or before I put on the glue mix. So I'm just going to show you how I go about it. These papers are great for, you can use them for backgrounds, for art that you're going to create, or you can use them for, I use them for journals mostly, but you can also, cut them into an 8x10 or a smaller size and do beautiful art on top of them, because they make a very nice canvas. So basically, I just take my glue mix, spread it on an area, and start adding papers. Sometimes they stick up, so then I'll just add some more glue. You can use, sometimes I use my glue stick to glue them down. And then when I'm done gluing everything, I do my glue mix over. I have a little bit of paint on here, so it's coming out a little discolored, but that's fine. And I'm just going to cover the whole sheet. This whole sheet that I have, this is a 12 by 18 sheet. And then I'm going to actually, cut this down. And I also do the back of the paper. I didn't here, but do the back of your paper that you collage on, and also do the base. I like this. In different cycles I go. Sometimes I could do these all day. I'll just sit and do like 50 of these in a day. It's just so relaxing sometimes and so messy, and you don't really have to think, and it's just fun. But the results are fabulous when you add them to a journal. And you've maybe done something like this. I'm not really big on collage. I love it, but I don't feel like I'm that great at it. So for me, this is a little bit of collage without having to be great at it. I can just do whatever I want. And actually, it's very good practice. I mean, I'm not being fussy here. There are ways that collage artists lay down their collage in a way that's like magic, which, I don't know. I'll be honest, collage art confuses me a little. I don't really know why that is. I get like confused, like what paper do I put where? And I don't really know why. It's the same with paint or drawing, but I mean, you just put it where it looks good and where you know it's going to be the best. But I don't know, for some reason, I just never got collage. I added into paintings and stuff, but I'm talking about a piece here and there. I want to get better at it, but I just really haven't had time to focus on it. I have a few friends that do great collage. Just making, paintings out of collage. Well, collage and a little bit of paint too, but anyway, so this is just fun, and you fill up your paper, and it's such a great texture to use in your journals. This paper's a little bit thick, but I think it'll be fine. It's better to use, thin papers like map, tissue paper, which I don't have any right now here. I should go get some. Well, I'm basically just you can use whatever you like, but I'm just showing you how I do this. And it's a very quick process. I mean, you have to let the paper dry, and I stitch mine when I'm done. I just stitch through the whole thing. You don't have to do that step. I just like the added texture and design that it gives. So I'm trying to think. I've used these, I've done these collages on bigger paper and have actually painted over them, whatever I was doing. I've used them in journals. Oh, I cut them small and use them in tags. Whatever idea you can think of is great. They're great for anything. And they're so unique. No one's ever going to have a similar page. They're going to be 100% you because of the mix of papers you will use, and whatever you choose is going to be, no one could ever repeat that. So my favorite use is putting them in journals. I don't fill the whole journal with these, but I add, 2 or 3 to a journal. Now, I don't even have papers here that really go together or not go together. I just pulled out a bunch of stuff. You can get a bit more fancy and choose papers that go well together, or your favorite colors. Whatever you can imagine. And yeah, like I said, I think this glue mix is 3/4 Mod Podge to 1/4 water. But I've also done a more watery mix. I've also done half and half. I've also done Elmer's glue and water. So either one of those, because when it dries, it just gives a great texture to the paper. It makes it like thicker and just nice. I like sometimes I like to use the matte. I think this is matte, but sometimes I like the glossy, because it's just a nice contrast in the journal to have, and not full glossy, it's semi-glossy because you're adding the water, but it's a nice contrast in the journal. So I love that. I usually go all the way out to the edges because you don't want the paper to be weak on the edges, especially because I'm using a very thin style of copy paper. And it's great when it's sunny out because you put these out in the sun and they're dry very quick. Today it's not too sunny here. Well, it's sunny, but it's not warm. So I'm going to have to wait till these dry and I'll come back. I may lay them over the heater vent. Because you want them fully dry, especially if you're going to stitch them. I've made the mistake of stitching before they were fully dry, and then the glue gets in my sewing machine, and huge mess. I haven't done it often though. I think I did it 2 times. It should have only been 1 time, but I did it 2 times. So you want them fully dry. Now, if you'd like, you can use a thicker paper as your base, so you have a thicker, you know, canvas, so to speak. I think I'm going to spend some time making these today because I only have the ones I showed you left. I don't have a lot left. So I need to build up my stash. Be generous with your glue. You don't want it dripping off the page, but you want it very saturated because you want the pieces, see how mine are all laying flat. This was a learning curve for me. I used to collage with 2 little glue and I'd have all the little pieces rippling and sticking up. So you totally want to have enough glue so you don't have any edges sticking up. Okay, I think I've covered almost all my edges. And I'll just do one quick coat over it before I let it dry. I think I need a piece up here. Okay, that's it. Now I'm going to let this dry and I will be back.